Maguire cheating, Cunha diving, Palace mugged off, Burnley mugged off, Spurs mugged off, Pedro punched in the face, Arsenal wrestling at set pieces. What's going on? Nothing new. Nothing different, just an ordinary weekend in the Premier League. Anyway, welcome to Tartan. This is my slightly and unintentional biased review of all the action over the last 3 days. So let's get straight to the Emirates as Arsenal beat Chelsea 2-1. Now, first of all, well done, Arsenal. Huge win. The pressure was on. Difficult fixture, but they got through it. However, I can't pretend I didn't watch it thinking, what's the point? What is the point? It's so heavily weighted in favour of Arsenal. When you play Arsenal, whoever you are, Chelsea, Spurs, it's in favour of Arsenal. And the proof is right in front of our eyes. You cannot tell me that they do not get away with more than their immediate opponent. I'm not having it. In this case, there was two instances which stood out for me. First of all, you've got the Declan Rice handball. He's all over Hato. The ball's coming in from a Chelsea corner. Declan Rice has got his arms around him and over him. Hato's arms. Now, when players jump, I always defend that they need to use their arms for leverage. No one jumps like a pencil. No one jumps like this, right? So whenever they jump up and they catch someone or it hits them, I think, oh, come on, that's just a natural movement. Hato is jumping like a pencil. He's jumping with his arms down. I've not seen anything like it. His arms don't come above his hands are below his waist. He's just jumping up. Right. Declan Rice has got both arms over his shoulders, around his torso. He's practically cuddling. He's spooning him in midair. So that's the first foul by Declan Rice. The second one, the ball hits him in the arm, under the sleeves, and under this, oh, is it up on the biceps? No, it's down there on the forearm. Bounces off him, and Raya makes a top save. So is it handball? No. Why? Well, it's unintentional. Yeah, but I agree, it's accidental. Okay, I don't think he means to. But that's not a natural jumping like this, cuddling someone. That's not a natural jumping position. That's not a natural stance. He's fouling someone and the ball hits him on the arm because he's fouling someone. There's two fouls by Declan Rice. And meanwhile that's happening, next to Declan Rice, Saliba's dragging Pedro to the ground. No penalty. It is ridiculous. Then this second one, and this is going to come across as victimy. Oh, it's just a West Ham fan whinging about a decision against West Ham. The reason I'm using this example is because I'm a West Ham fan. I can remember it. I watched every single game of West Ham this season. I haven't watched every game of everyone else. So this has possibly and probably happened elsewhere. I'm just unaware of it. The ball comes in the Arsenal game. Pedro gets his head to it. The minute he heads it, bang, a fist from Raya comes in. He goes with both fists. One of them clocks him in the chin, the other one goes behind his head. He's getting, boom, double fisted. Right? No pen. Right, leave it out. Let's rewind a few weeks. Let's go back to January, shall we? West Ham played Nottingham Forest. The ball coming. And the Arsenal one's worse, in my opinion, because Pedro wins that and then gets fouled. Right? So Raya's late. He's misjudged it and he's late. The one that was given against West Ham, against Nottingham Forest, Areola slaps Gibbs White in the face. I'm not going to pretend he doesn't. He comes out for the ball and he ends up pushing Gibbs White in the face. But Gibbs White doesn't win the ball either. The ball gets cleared before it reaches them. Had that ball not got cleared by Thomas Souček, I actually think Areola wins it, but there's no way of proving it, right? And I listened and heard people that don't support West Ham say, hang on a minute, why is that deemed a foul against Areola? It's just as much a foul against Gibbs White. They're just colliding with each other. Neither of them have got the ball. Neither of them are getting the ball. They've just come into each other and that's it. So why is it a foul one way? Well, in the Arsenal game, Pedro did win it and got a punch in the chops. No penalty, carry on. And if you need another layer of proof, it's weighted in favour of Arsenal. Let's go to the next game. Fulham 2, Spurs 1. Another defeat for Spurs. Another win for Fulham. The European race is on at Craven Cottage. Good finish by Iwobi for this one. A good finish by Harry Wilson as well. But the controversy was in that goal. Ball comes in, Raul Jimenez pushes, drags in. There's no getting away from it. There's two hands on the Spurs defender's back, push. Play continues, ends up in the back net. If we go back just a week ago, we don't even have to look far. Literally last week. Spurs, Muani, push on Gabriel, goal disallowed. Why? You're pushing the defender. You can't do that. A week later, yesterday, Dragusin, the Spurs defender, gets pushed and the goal stands. Spurs must be thinking, hang on a minute, that guy's been in charge of 2 games and the same thing's happened in both games and there's been different decisions on both pushes. It is so inconsistent. It is ridiculous. Each referee in the Premier League are refereeing every game differently. Each referee is playing to a different set of laws. Now, a lot of things are open to interpretation by the referee, so there will always be variance. I accept that. But this is quite straightforward. It's very identical. Attacker pushes defender in the back with both hands, which is altering the defender's ability to play the ball. Dragusin's winning that in the air. He literally moves mid-air because of the push. How that wasn't given as a free kick, I do not know. Now, I'm pleased Spurs lost. I wanted Spurs to lose. I need Spurs to lose. I'm a West Ham fan. So I'm buzzing that Fulham won. But when I watched it, I did think they've got mugged right off, Tottenham have. And who benefits? Well, last week Arsenal did and this week Fulham done. But the difference in decisions is in favour of Arsenal once again last week. And the Liverpool. Ekitike and Romero earlier on the season, goal stood. So Spurs must be thinking, hang on, this has happened 3 times. Once in favour of us, free kick was given. Twice against us and both goals stood. What's going on? Inconsistent. Moving on to Man United beating Crystal Palace 2-1. I hadn't watched this game either, but the reason I want to talk about it now is because that is a dive in my book. From Cunha, that is a dive. Lacroix, does he put his hand on his shoulder? Yes. But not all physical contact is a penalty in the Premier League. And if it is, we're in trouble. I'm not even sure it's in the box for a start. It starts out the box, hand on shoulder. And I speak about natural body language, natural reactions. That's what I always look to. Do I think it's a pen? Do I not think it's a pen? I want to see the opposition player reacting naturally. So if he is getting pulled, the fall would be consistent with the offence. He gets tugged in. Oh, piss off, man. Piss off. He's reacted as if he's been sniped in the bottom of his spine. A little tug on the shoulder. It's not even a free kick. It's not even a penalty. And if you're going to give the foul, it's a red card, okay? Because he is the last man, right? So I think if you're going to get the pen, you have to send him off. You can't. I don't want to see, well, it's maybe half a foul, so we'll just give you it's got to be, if it's a foul, it's a pen. I think it should be, if anything, maybe not all dives are bookings, in my opinion. Is he trying to cheat? Yeah, he is. But this is why VAR should look and go, it's not a pen. He's gone down easily. So, okay, so dive going down easily. I think there's a fine line. And I would say he's just gone down really easily. I call it dive because, well, he is. He's trying to cheat. He's trying to con the referee. But VAR should be able to, it is able to overturn that. How VAR's looked at it and the referee's gone and looked at the monitor, and I appreciate he's probably checking for the red card offence rather than the actual foul. Come on. Outstanding header by Lacroix, by the way. I saw Ben Johnson got an assist. I thought, Lashley's doing something. It wasn't a great corner. It was like Canado, but Lacroix had to backpedal to get his head on it. Outstanding header. Bruno Fernandes is an incredible world-class footballer. I've only seen the highlights of this game. One pass in particular from the middle of the pitch out to Mbomo on the right wing, I think it was. My word, he just volleyed it. It was absolutely delicious. He is one of the best players in the league this season. And he won't win PFA Player of the Year. It'll go to an Arsenal player if they win the title. I think there's a real argument that it should be Bruno Fernandes. I think he, in my opinion, he's been the best player in the league this season. Outstanding footballer. Now, moving on to Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1. This is the game I did watch. I mean, the first 15 minutes was absolutely brilliant. 3 goals, bang, bang, bang. Nice finishes as well. Welbeck's finish, Gibbs White finish, bang, bang, goal. Nice finishes. Gomez's finish was brilliant. Sal should be doing better, but still a nice finish. 15 minutes in, 2-1 Brighton. I'm like, I can't take. I was really nervous before the Brighton Forest game because I need Forest to lose. Scored early, get in 2-1 Brighton, brilliant. But then I was thinking, right, well, there's going to be more goals. There wasn't any. Forest looked out of ideas in the second half. They looked a little bit tired. They looked a little bit lost. That Bakwa is a stinky footballer, isn't he? Luka didn't come on, but he's also a stinky footballer. Forest have got a good starting 11, but their striker can't score goals. And beyond that, there's a lot of good players, but not fitting at Forest. I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but they don't look great at the minute. As for Brighton, an important win. They're still in the European race, although they've been really inconsistent and poor lately. A couple of important wins back-to-back. Calm things down. Look up rather than down and go get European football. It wasn't the best game of football by the end of it, but an important win for Brighton and an important win for West Ham as well. Moving on to my team getting beat 5-2 at Anfield. I have to say, I still don't think it was a 5-2 game. You look at 5-2, you think, wow, someone's just got battered, haven't they? I don't think we did. 4 goals, 1 own goal, 3 deflections. It felt like a weird game. I thought we played okay. We weren't good, we weren't bad. I thought we were just okay. I think the scoreline was harsh. Liverpool also played okay, and I think that's maybe the worst thing for us. We conceded 5, and Liverpool didn't even play that well. Salah didn't play well, Gakpo didn't play well, Ekitike didn't play that well, the midfield wasn't great. It was just, despite there being 7 goals, it felt quite uneventful. It was almost like a pre-season game. It felt like a testimonial or something. Everyone's just having goals. There's 7 flying in. There's not really an outstanding goal in there or anything like that. I can draw a line under this and move on, thanks to those results on Sunday. Leeds getting beat by Man City. I speak about inconsistencies. That handball by Nunez, what's that about? I thought Leeds were really good for the first half hour. I thought Leeds were by far the better team. Very unlucky to go a goal down just before half time, and they were unlucky to come away with nothing in this game. I felt like they deserved something. But again, ball comes in. I think it's Diaz, goes up for it, misses it, comes down. Nunez has got his eyes closed, he's missing the ball, it hits him on the arm out here. Oh, accidental handball. Yeah, it is accidental. No one's accusing him of deliberately handballing it. Well, actually, I'm sure there's a few Leeds fans doing it, right? But I'm certainly not. I think it is handball. But that doesn't mean it's not a pen, okay? Because if that's going to be the line, accidental, I like the whole ball to arm thing to some extent. I think you've got to take everything into consideration. But one of the things you have to take into consideration is things like the distance, etc. But also there just needs to be another layer, which is the stupidity of the person committing the offence. Because if you are just a bit harsh, but if you are just really stupid, it should be a pen. Because what Nunez is doing is just really stupid. Hits him on the arm. Accidental, yeah. But in that case, from now on, every defender, when someone's away to shoot from distance, right, as you throw yourself down, instead of putting your hands behind your back and lunging at it, just close your eyes and just start pretending you're Mr. Tickle or something. Right, just stand there. Here we are. I'm Jersey Dudek and Go. Remember him? He did this in goal, didn't he? His jelly legs. Do a bit of Jersey Dudek and Go. Like you're one of those inflatable people at a car sales room. Woo! The air's good. I'm one of these inflatable things. Just defend like this. So when someone shoots from 30 yards, you've got your eyes shut, it hits you in the arm, you go, ref, I couldn't see. Accidental. It's just stupid. It's a pen all day, every day. I always say, my rule of thumb is, if that was given a 4, if West Ham were Leeds United, would I want a pen? Yes. And I use that for absolutely everything. Even decisions against West Ham. Sometimes I go, yeah, okay, that's got to go against West Ham, because if it was down the other end, I'd want it to stand for whatever reason. Like Liverpool's third goal. Gomez is in an offside position. Van Dijk heads it. Gomez is in an offside position. That was our second goal, sorry. But it's not offside for me. Gomez is not interfering in play. He's not interfering with the goalkeeper. He's not obstructing his view. So he's in an offside position. Goal stand. Like Tarkowski at St James's Park. Goal stands. Anyway, rant over. I'm ranty this morning, am I? I think it's because I've just caught up. I've just watched Match of the Day for the games that I didn't watch live. So I watched the Wolves Villa one, Bournemouth, Sunderland, West Ham, Man City Leeds. Then I watched Brighton Forest and Arsenal Chelsea. I always like to say what I watched so you know. What's that? 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the 10 games I've watched. The other 4, so I had to watch Match of the Day to catch up on the other 4. And I think when I see the push on Dragons Lane and stuff, I just think this is just, the Premier League's just bollocks, isn't it? Absolute bollocks. Anyway, Bournemouth won, Sunderland won. It was a good game. I quite enjoyed it. It was quite end-to-end, quite basketball. I think, a mistake by Petrovic. Sunderland took the lead, and then Evan Nielsen scored with his shoulder. And this is where, when we get onto Turf Moor and there's an offside decision and you see the a computer image, which I still do not trust, right? I don't know why we've just accepted this as a football community, as football broadcasters, as those in charge of football. Why they've accepted this semi-automated thing as gospel? It's so easily manipulated. If you take the frame of, the player kicking the ball and you nudge it less than a second, right? It doesn't really make a difference as to when the player hit the ball. It's hard to tell, but it makes a huge difference to the offside call. And we're all just looking at this computerized image of two mannequins and it's going, yeah, offside. And we just have to go, okay, although you don't really trust it. But regardless, we're going to see it later on. The Burnley players offside by this bit, while Evan Nielsen scores with this bit, that's for sure. So there is merit in the offside call, although I still don't like it. 1-1, it's an okay result for both teams. Both teams Bournemouth have a more realistic shot. Sunderland, they just need to make sure they just don't plummet down the league and they can stay at the top of the bottom half of the table. So it was a good draw all around, but it was a good game of football. I enjoyed it, entertaining. Newcastle 2, Everton 3, that save by Pickford, my word. Now, I'm not going to go as far as some people. Some people have said it's the best save they've ever seen. Maybe live, maybe if you're in the stadium, I think, right, okay, it's going to be hard to beat that, being there. But it's not quite, Petr Cech against Andy Carroll for me. So it's not quite the best save I've ever seen. But it's still an outstanding save. The power on that volley by Tonali is incredible. I mean, the technique of the volley. And I think we've almost ignored perhaps just how well Tonali hits that. Because of how good the save is, it's almost like you brush over just the technique from Tonali was outstanding. So it's a brilliant volley by Tonali. But the save from Pickford, and when you take into the context of it being last minute, the power, the strength he needs in his arm and hand just to tip it onto the bar is outstanding. Looked like a really scrappy game from the highlights. Everton's goals they conceded were via deflections. Nick Pope gifting Beto a goal. He's had some howlers, Nick Pope, this season, isn't he? I think there's just too many Newcastle players not playing well enough. And I've seen Shearer sort of discussing Baltimore, and I get it, but I feel like it's letting other Newcastle players off the hook a little bit. I feel like because you discuss the expensive striker that's not really playing as a striker at times, what we're doing is collectively is almost ignoring the performance of, say, Murphy and Trippier, and in particular Nick Pope. But things just haven't felt right at St James's Park for quite a few weeks now. But Everton are unbelievable. Second most points accrued away from home. Huge win for them. European football feels likely at Everton next season. What position will they finish? 7th, 8th, whatever. But they've given themselves a real good chance of having Europa League or the Conference League at the Hill Dickinson next season. Burnley 3, Brentford 4. I mean, this game was wild, wasn't it? It was coming through as West Ham were playing. Brentford were 3-0 up. You thought, pfft. Then it was 3-3. Then it was 4-3 Burnley, disallowed. 4-3 Brentford, 4-all disallowed. Let's talk about the disallowed goals, because the rest of them, there was nothing controversial about the 6 goals that stood, or the 7 goals that stood, sorry. But when Burnley thought they made it 4-3, the offside, then even when the computer thing comes up and it's cutting him off like halfway down his arm, and it's just, I don't know. I'm not keen on that. I think we need to just, I'm not keen on Wagner's rule, which is, right, there needs to be daylight between the attacker and the defender. I don't like that rule. I think that's too much of an advantage to the attacker, because they're just going to stand way behind the defender and just put their foot or the hand. You're going to see strikers behind the defender holding on to the defender a little bit, but having a half a yard head start. And I don't like that. I think it's going to cause problems. The rule almost, if I was in charge of the offside rule, I'd redefine it to feet and head only. Forget chest. Even, I know you can score with your chest, but how many goals are scored via head or either foot? Quite a large proportion. I'd be surprised if it was less than 90%, okay? And I'm including thighs. I know technically that if someone scores with a thigh, it probably goes down as a right-footed goal. Someone scores with a shoulder, it goes down as a header. But the chances of it being scored from anything below, between the chin and your ankle, is quite low in the grand scheme of things. I would like the offsides to be head, feet. That's it. No knee, arm, hand, finger, willy, nothing. Just stop trying to. It's, every time you see a goal like that, you feel like they're trying to rule it out. It's not the spirit of the game. You want it to be like, let's interfere as little as... That was the whole thing with VR. We will interfere as little as possible. The new rules are coming next season. They're interfering even more. So if you're going to do that, can we interfere less already with the existing rules? And I think the offside thing, keeping it to head and foot only, would be one of those ways of just getting a bit of the game back in favour of those inside the stadium. And then the handball against Ashley Barnes. I'm sorry, I'm not agreeing that that's handball. It might be. There's two angles. There's one from behind the goal. It looks like it hits Barnes on the arm. Okay, it looks like it hits him on the arm, falls, and he finishes it. But the one from the side of the pitch looks like it hits him on the ribs. My point is, you can only overturn that if you are 100% sure. You can only overturn that goal if there's conclusive proof it hit him on the arm, and I don't think there is. Now, some people might look at both and go, well, I think so. My opinion, from what I've seen, I think one angle, it looks like it hits him there, the other one doesn't. This isn't McAllister against Nottingham Forest, where the ball hit him on the elbow and his arm clearly went right. There was no debating if it hit him on the arm. His entire arm moved after contact. Barnes doesn't. Now, the ball's not that strong. It's a weak ball, soft ball for him to control. His arm's tensed up, so it would be easy for him to not have an impact. But I don't know, I just didn't think there was enough proof to say that it 100% hit him in the arm. Likewise, the opposite. If the referee ruled it out and said, handball, goal disallowed, and then you watched it, I don't think there's 100% proof to say, well, might not have done, overturn it and give the goal. I think you had to stick with the on-field decision. I think that goal should have stood. And lastly, Wolves beat Villa on Friday night. Wolves were okay. This is going to feel like I'm just pissing on Wolves' parade, and I'm sorry if you're a Wolves fan, but I thought you played okay. You weren't fantastic, you were just okay. Villa were crap, really, really bad, just out of ideas, looking tired. Emery lost the plot, and Wolves were clinical. Two good goals, but I mean, the first one from Yao Gomez, a brilliant finish to get that elevation on it, a confident finish as well. Then the break at the end, but Manny with a wonderful decision. He's clearly a young superstar in the making, Manny, but his decision making impresses me. Every time I watch Wolves, he dribbles when he's supposed to dribble. He releases the ball at the right time. He usually picks the right pass as well. And he can be a bit indulgent shooting, but quite often when I see him shoot and I watch the replay of the shot, it's not necessarily the worst decision. Like, there's not an obvious pass on. There's some options, but they are also just as risky as shooting is. Wonderful player. I'm a big fan of him. I like him a lot so far, but Villa need to get their act together. That's Man U above them. And they are in danger of chucking the Champions League away here. You know, they looked nailed on for Champions League just a month ago. They were in the title race in January. Here we are in the Champions League race alongside Chelsea and Liverpool. Now, I suspect they will get Champions League football, but only to get their finger out and get their act together, because they are in danger of having a wonderful 3/4 of a season and a terrible final quarter and getting punished for it. There's teams breathing down their neck and licking their lips, but good win for Wolves. They're not going to hold that record that Derby County held, and that's important to get that over and done with. I appreciate it's not even the wooden spoon thing, is it? It's just make sure you're not the worst ever in the Premier League. But they've done that. You don't want that on your football CV, do you? Anyway, quick turnaround. I'll be back later on with my Premier League preview and predictions ahead of the next set of fixtures, midweek fixtures in the Premier League. Thank you very much for joining me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll be back later on to catch up and see what you're all thinking. But Cunha, massive dive. Arsenal, well, they'll shove some. This wrestling at set pieces needs to be stopped. Whoever plays Arsenal next, I'm not even sure who it is. Whoever plays Arsenal next, as soon as that corner's taken in your favour, you need to start flinging yourself to the ground and start making the referee make a decision. Because they're getting away with... At the start of the season, there was a big thing about referees are going to cut down on grappling at corners. Literally every Arsenal player's throwing players around. It needs cut out. ASAP. Thank you very much for joining me. Please do drop a like on the video before you disappear by clicking the thumbs up button, subscribing to Tartan Geo, and I'll catch you in a bit.